Well, Kraken Time picks up right where Quest for Booty left off. Ratchet's searching for Clank, who is abducted in Tools of Destruction by this mysterious creatures called the Zoni. So now Ratchet's on a journey to find Clank. And the good thing is about this game is that you don't have to have played Tools of Destruction or Quest for Booty to get up to speed. We're going to recap everything, bring old players up to speed and new players as well.
So one of my biggest questions about the game is the fact that at the end of the first game, Clank disappeared. He went away somewhere in time. Is he involved in the game at all, in the gameplay, or is most of the game following a trail to find out where he is?
Well, a big chunk of the game is Ratchet on a journey to find Clank, but we're also seeing where Clank is located, why he was abducted, find out why he was abducted by the Zoni, and we get to see the game from Clank's perspective. So there is a big chunk of Clank gameplay, and it's more than we've featured in previous games.
No, really quick, can I jump in? You mentioned that if you're new to the franchise, you don't necessarily have to have played the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Are you showing that in cutscenes, like flashbacks, and are they playable at all?
Well, we're kind of doing what a lot of seasons will do, where they do like this little recap bit, like if you've watched Lost before, they'll do like a quick...
So in the intro kind of thing.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of gameplay, we're looking at some demo now. What exactly does this take place? What planet is it? How far along in the game?
Well, what you're seeing right now is Krell Canyon. It's on planet Lumos. It's about halfway through the game, and this is one of our big open desert levels. This is a huge level. It's got a cave system. It's got a big open canyon. And Ratchet's fighting these creatures called Agorians. They're these big barbaric brutes that just love to blow stuff up. So Ratchet's got a bunch of cool weapons. He's got the Sonic Eruptor, which is this great weapon that will blast out this huge mating call, which sounds a lot like a belch. And there's an indicator on the screen where if you press the button at the right time, you'll let out an enormous belch.
So it's in terms of
sonic boom.
Yeah, a sonic belch.
Jeremy does that on occasion.
I do, actually every day. I guess I have a mating call every 10 minutes.
We know exactly what you're talking about.
Now, in terms of weapons, are a big part of the Ratchet franchise. In terms of the weapons from the previous games, and when it was a PS2 franchise, you could always carry your save over from earlier versions and import weapons from older games. Are you keeping that in this game as well, or is that something you don't want to talk about?
No, actually, if you have Tools of Destruction, we'll detect your save, and you'll get some of the weapons from Tools of Destruction a lot quicker in this game if you played it.
Is there any connection to the downloadable game also in terms of that save game, or is that just sort of a standalone thing?
The downloadable was more of a standalone thing. There is a connection to the story. And one thing to point out, though, is this is a full game. This isn't going to be a downloadable game like Quest for Booty. This will come out on a Blu-ray disc this fall.
And what about the game itself in terms of how the gameplay works? Ratchet and Clank has always been about how the duo works together very well. And if you're spending most of the game looking for Clank, how are some of Clank's powers used in the game before you find him?
Well, the great thing is that Ratchet gets this gadget called hover boots that allows him to travel through the level very quickly. And what that allows Ratchet to do is he can jump very high with the boots on, and he gets the same height that he had when Clank had the helipad, and he can also glide with them. In addition to that, he can jump off of these special plates, he can travel very quickly, jump up ramps. It's just a great way to get around quickly.
You mentioned earlier that you really want to make it accessible for people who, whether or not they're familiar with the franchise or brand new. But if you are someone who's played every game in the franchise like I have, for instance, what is it you think you've done to make the game go up another level to really keep people feeling like there's something brand new?
Mm-hmm. Well, in addition to the hover boots, which you can use anywhere in the levels that allow you to go really quickly, there's a ton of variety in this game. We're shifting the perspective between Ratchet and Clank. We're introducing some new cool weapon features, and then there's a big element of time. And that's something we're going to reveal a lot more of when we show off Clank and some of the other Ratchet levels that feature time gameplay. But it has a very integral part to both the story and gameplay.
And E3 is obviously a big place to show your game off for the first time. But in terms of when we might one day see Clank or some of the other elements we're talking about, how far down the road do you think that'll be?
Well, we're going to be revealing more about Clank this month, and then we're also going to be revealing more about the weapons, space, and some other forms of gameplay in the next few months.
And I am sure you're going to give that exclusive to IGN.com, right?
Yeah, there's a good chance.
I knew it.
You heard it here first.
Okay, put him on the spot.
That's right. Oh boy.
Don't let him go till he gives it to us.
You're forced to stay
Yeah,
here.
so Ratchet also fights these really large enemies like the Hydra tanks that you can see here now. And the cool thing is we're bringing back some of the gadgetry from Quest for Booty, like the wrench, where you can pull off these fuses that will short circuit their heads, causing them to blow up.
So it's kind of a mechanical Hydra.
It is, yeah. It's a big three-headed Hydra, and the trick is you have to get his life down, and he'll try to recharge. And that's the moment where he's vulnerable. You can pull a fuse out, and he'll lose a head. He loses all three heads, and that's
Now, will
it.
the head grow back if you don't put like a real Hydra? If you don't put back?
No. I mean, the closest thing to that in the
A
inspiration
real
is that-
Hydra, because there are, they exist.
all of the ones I've met,
I realized what I said. I was like, oh, nerd.
Well, we are in downtown LA.
Yes, that's true. You never know.
Who is the big bad guy for this game?
Well, yeah, the great thing is we're bringing back Dr. Nefarious. We introduced him in Quest for Booty, and he was really a fan favorite. And at Insomniac, he's our favorite villain. He's back with his butler, Lawrence, and the two of them really play off of one another. Lawrence is kind of dry, subdued, whereas Nefarious is always screaming his head off. And he's got this crazy diabolical plan, which we'll reveal in this game.
One of the questions I get most from avid Ratchet fans on the IGN forums is, when are we going to find out more about some of the past Ratchet characters that you've kind of left hanging around? You know, people have still some open-ended stories. I'm not going to name specific names, but are we going to see other characters returning to the game other than Nefarious?
Well, we'll certainly see Captain Quark, who's another fan favorite, and he's up to no good as usual. Or actually, he's trying to help Ratchet out, but he usually is kind of bumbling and screws a few things up. But the really cool thing is we're really looking at Ratchet and Clank, and their named Alistair Azimuth, where it reveals a lot more about who Ratchet was, what happened to his family. There's also a new character that I can't talk too much about, but he's connects to Clank. And so Clank knows a lot more about his origin. And I think fans will really be surprised about what they learn about who Clank is and what he is meant to do.
Is this going to wrap up the storyline? Is this a self-contained trilogy, or is it actually built so that it keeps going on after this?
We're actually wrapping things up for this game. I think it's going to be a big surprise for fans, and also there's a good chance that Ratchet and Clank may split apart for good, but you'll have to play the game to find out.
Wow.
Ooh, there's an ender.
Yeah.
There's a challenge. Jeremy, are you up for it?
I am, but I'm going to give away the ending. I think one of them is actually Bruce Willis. He's already dead.
Well, always. Okay, well, I guess that's a wrap. Is there anything you want to close out with that you didn't touch upon that maybe I can trick you into saying on stage?
Sure. I mean, I think the big thing is this game is huge. It's just as big as Tools of Destruction. It's got a lot of replay value, and it's coming out for the PlayStation 3 only this fall, 2009.